Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. We are actually off this week, but we can't not go over the Golden Globes. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. I am going to be doing this solo because, as I said, my other hosts, John and Amanda, are off this week. So I'm just going to recap the Golden Globes 2021, and all opinions contained within this short podcast commentary are my own, unless you're really offended by them, in which case they're Amanda's. Okay, so the Golden Globes happened, and, it was primarily a virtual event, but you had Amy Poehler and Tina Fey on, I think, alternate coasts doing the hosting side by side. They did a very wonderful job of making this show entertaining. I mean, the Golden Globes is always known for its drunken celebrities. So we still had David Fincher taking shots, for example. So there's definitely people doing shots. But it was fun to see the celebrities in their homes or whatnot preparing for the awards. And this is also going to be a very minorly edited, hastily put together episode. So it's not like your usual Hollywood Outsider episode, which you can find other episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com or on your favorite podcast app. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association is comprised of about 90 members of critics internationally. And they've had a lot of issues lately with diversity because they don't have any diversity. It's all whiteys on their board trying to pick on current modern films. It just doesn't reflect the modern world. So there's been a lot of flack for that. And also there's been some talk of some bribery issues where people are bribing for awards. Now, that is wrong. But I will tell you, not many critics, myself included, take the Golden Globes that seriously. It's more of a precursor to kind of see what's on the radar for the Oscars, and it's like the fun, quote-unquote fun award show, but I would never go so far as to say as we take them very seriously. I respect the art that's involved, not necessarily this show. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the films that are involved in here are wonderful films and wonderful talent involved in those films, and many of them are awards worthy. It's just the Golden Globes is one of those where it's kind of become not as well. It's not as well respected as many other award shows. Not that it's an award show. I mean, they're basically actor or celebrities praising other celebrities. I mean, that's what a lot of it is. But in this case, it's critics praising other celebrities, and apparently sometimes they take money for that. What are you going to do? So the show itself had Tina Fey and Amy Poehler doing a great job. The two together is something I would watch for anything. You could tell me they were doing an award show for best auto mechanic, which I love auto mechanics because I don't know how to do it. Only my dad does. So that's something I would watch. I would watch them do anything together because I think together they are top tier talent. And they brought a lot of their friends into the mix. They had Kristen Wiig was there. A little Barb and Star commercial, which, be perfectly honest, it was enough to tell me I don't really need to see the movie, but I've heard other people rave about the movie, and I've heard other people hate the movie. I think that one's going to be an acquired taste, Barb and Star. Go to Del Mar. But they also have Maya Rudolph and Kenan Thompson, who Maya Rudolph I put in the same category as Tina Fey and Amy Poehler because she is a blessing. A blessing. She just showed up to tell everybody, hey, guess what? I deserve a Golden Globe just for being here. That's how talented I am, because she can do literally anything. And their bit was funny. It was funny. Now, the one thing I will say about the show itself before I recap the winners is what I found fascinating is they had time to throw in these little bits, which ultimately led to playing off the bigger winners later in the evening. So people that won big awards were basically played off while they're virtually at home, which is an odd concept. But if they would have just cut those bits, they would have been able to do their full speeches. Meanwhile, earlier in the night, other people got to do their full speeches, unless you were Daniel Kaluuya. And in that case, they just don't even know how technology works. They were apparently figuring it out on the fly because the poor guy had his speech not come through for the majority of it. But thankfully, they got it corrected and they finally figured some stuff out. So, what are you going to do? It was an interesting event. I don't know how I feel about these virtual awards. I will say the Emmys did it much better. Like they just had everything under wraps. It feels like this was more of a thrown together affair than it was really well planned prior. One thing I thought was pretty funny was all of the celebrities that are dressed to the nines in their gowns and doing photo shoots in their houses and whatnot. I just like, okay. Thanks for reminding us all how much poorer we are, because, man, we're in our sweats watching this and doing our work from home in pajamas. But you guys, you got you got beautiful dresses while you're sitting in your foyer. Anyway, what are you going to do? I mean, that's just the nature of this beast. Okay, so what else happened? Jane Fonda received the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which was wonderful. I think she's a very talented, brilliant actress. She's also an activist, and she definitely affects both sides. There are people that loathe Jane Fonda, and there are people that love Jane Fonda. It's probably whatever aisle of the political spectrum you're on, you feel. But in terms of just her work, she's a very talented actress, and she's done a lot of wonderful things. Norman Lear won the Carol Burnett Award, which is a lifetime achievement for television, and well-deserved. He's an intelligent man who has done a wonder for television, and especially for tackling tough subjects. A lot of what he tackled in the 70s not that it would be difficult to do today if you have smart writers, most studios would be afraid of what he did. So it's not so much that it couldn't be done today, it's that people are too afraid to do it today. And to do it honestly, to be honest. So, it was fascinating. It was fascinating, and especially how they put the show on and almost kind of made a joke of their lack of diversity. They kept making fun of themselves, I guess, to take the hit for what they apparently, or the flack they've been getting. I don't know if that's the right approach for what people are complaining about. It's just, reflect the world. It's really not that complicated. I don't think it's a really difficult thing that people are asking for. And when you make it the punchline, it kind of takes away from the whole point. So those are the big show portions of it. Now let's get into the winners. And I'm just going to recap them. Okay. I'm not doing anything fantastic. I might tell you who I think should have won or who shouldn't have won, but I'll try not to be too angry about any of my sad losses. Okay, let's start with some TV, because, they have TV in film and the Golden Globes. And I wonder, because when you watch the awards show when it's live, they have the film people right next to the stage, like real close to the stage, all sexy and shot up next to everybody's looking beautiful. They're all just next to each other. It looks fantastic. Meanwhile, all the TV people are like 14 rows in the balcony, and they have to walk 64 minutes to get to the stage. And then they get their speech cut off because they had to walk so long. That's basically what they think of TV there. So I wonder if they were on dial-up waiting to get in. Like they wouldn't put them on some streaming connection. They had to just buffer them in. I don't know how that worked. But anyway, so Best Actress in a Limited Series, Anthology Series, or TV Film, Anya Taylor-Joy, The Queen's Gambit, who is British and has a delightful accent. She beat out a lot of people. Good for her, though. She is fantastic in the show. The Queen's Gambit was great. That's on Netflix. You can watch that. Best Actor in a Limited Series, Anthology Series, or TV Film, Mark Ruffalo, I Know As Much Is True, beat out Bryan Cranston. Jeff Daniels wearing his best flannel. Looks like he just woke up, or he was doing some stuff around the house, man. He just like, you know what? I've always wanted to wear TJ Maxx. Why not? Beat out Hugh Grant for The Undoing, which actually kind of surprised me. Then you have Best Supporting Actress in a TV Series, Gillian Anderson. Yeah, from The X-Files. I'm sorry, she didn't win for that show, but that's a show I appreciate her the most from. But it's from The Crown, because of course it is. Because that's the only show that they watch. They apparently just watched The Crown for the majority of the Golden Globes. But congratulations to Gillian, because I love her, and she's better than everybody that was nominated, except maybe Julia Garner in Ozark. I think is fantastic. No shade meant for Annie Murphy and Schitt's Creek. I just love Gillian Anderson. I don't know what to say. All right, Best Supporting Actor in a TV Series, John Boyega for Small Axe. Beat out Brendan Gleeson for The Comey role, Dan Levy for Schitt's Creek, Jim Parsons for Hollywood, and Donald Sutherland for The Undoing. John Boyega bringing it. Best Actress in a TV musical or comedy, Catherine O'Hara, Schitt's Creek, which well-deserved. In terms of that show, she is easily the standout, although I personally think Dan Levy was the reason I kept watching the show. But Catherine O'Hara, you can't argue she wasn't fabulous. I mean, she got to wear 1,000 wigs. And Even though there's a lot of scuttlebutt on the internet about how well her acceptance went because she had her husband basically playing music to play her off like she was there. I thought it was a funny bit. A lot of people thought it was horrible. I laughed. So as far as I'm concerned, great bit. Keep doing it. Keep living your dream, Catherine O'Hara. Best actor in a TV musical or comedy? Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso wore his best hoodie and had nothing prepared. He had no idea he was going to win and very humble about it. So, I mean, I always love when an actor, someone who is surrounded by people who tell them how wonderful they are day in and day out, when they can actually come across very humble. I always appreciate that. I just think it's a wonderful and rare thing in celebrity Hollywood. So good for him. Ted Lasso is a rare show that I was late to the game watching it because I didn't want to subscribe to Apple TV, and found it to be an overwhelmingly optimistic show in a time when we need overwhelming optimism. So I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for something to brighten your day, watch Ted Lasso. And here, if you need further proof that they only watch The Crown, Best Actress in a TV Drama, Emma Corrin for The Crown. Sure, she's wonderful. She beat out Olivia Colman, who usually wins everything. Jodie Comer for Killing Eve. No, she's not better than her. Laura Linney for Ozark. Not better than her. Sarah Paulson for Ratched. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. All right, anyway, Best Actor in a TV Drama, Josh O'Connor for The Crown. Beat out Jason Bateman for Ozark. Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. Al Pacino for Hunters. How did he make the list? And Matthew Rhys for Perry Mason. Sorry, buddy. I mean, hey, it's a nice show. It's fine. But clean, like three out of the 4 performances go to The Crown. I don't see it. But hey, a lot of people love it. I know you guys love it. Great for you. Fantastic. I just would have went with someone else. Okay. So now, Best Limited Series or TV Film, The Queen's Gambit won. I think that was a no-brainer personally, so that's fantastic. Best TV Musical or Comedy, Schitt's Creek won. Well-deserving. Final season. Still kind of mad now that I've actually caught up to this show. I think you could have got another couple years out of that show, and we'd all be happy. It's only a 13-episode season. It's a rare sitcom I enjoyed. My God, man. Do it for me. Come back. Best TV Drama. Can you guess? Hang on. I'll give you a second. Have you guessed yet? If you guessed The Crown, you're absolutely correct. It beat out Ratched, Ozark, Lovecraft Country, and The Mandalorian. People love their queens. Now let's go to the movies. So Best Original Song for Motion Picture was Lucy from The Life Ahead, and that beat out all better songs. Fight for You, Hear My Voice, Speak Now, Tigers and Tweed. Those were all better than that one. But hey, you know what? It's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. They obviously can't get anything right this year. So, okay, let's go to Best Original Score. For Motion Picture, here they did get something right. Jon Batiste, Trent Reznor, and Atticus Ross won for Soul. Now, I liked Soul. I didn't think it was a fantastic film, but it was a very good film. But the music was astounding, just wonderfully done. And Jon Batiste is a talent, absolutely. It's weird to see Trent Reznor, who's, 9 Inch Nails, doing Pixar movies now. I think that's just odd, but I like it. I wonder if those kids are ever going to go rediscover his music, because that'll be a fun wake-up call. All right, so we move on to Best Screenplay. And, there's a lot of solid nominees, but what I will say is I'm glad Mank didn't win, because I don't know if it's a cinema crime to root against Mank, but I felt like it was necessary, because I was the whole night, because I just don't think it's a good movie. I think it's a movie that's just kissing Hollywood's ass, but it's not really a good movie. It's fine. It's fine, but overrated. So it didn't win. I said all that just to say it didn't win. The winner was Aaron Sorkin for The Trial of the Chicago 7, which was definitely well-deserved. I think Emerald Fennell should have won, but that's a personal opinion for Promising Young Woman. I think that's a smart script. And the Trial of Chicago 7 is mostly based on true events, so it's a little easier to write. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do? Best Director, Motion Picture. Again, I think it should have went to Emerald Fennell. But it didn't. And it didn't go to David Fincher. And he takes a shot every time he loses. I love that. That was great. I mean, I love Fincher. I just didn't like this particular movie. Love that he's taking shots. I think that's a fantastic endeavor. Regina King didn't win either. And One Night in Miami is a great film. People should watch it. But Chloe Zhao won for Nomadland. which, not, it was a good movie. Best movie of the year? Best director? I guess because you made you meshed acting with real people who kind of seemed like they were acting. Yeah, I think it's almost this hybrid of a typical film mixed with a documentary. That part it's a cool aesthetic. Okay, so I can see the director. I just can't see Best Picture. So we go on to Best Motion Picture Foreign Language. Minari. Okay, here's what I got to say about that. The movie's very American. It's about living the American dream. It's just mostly in Korean. I guess that's foreign language, but man, it's just not taking. I just feel like it's blind to the world again. Like the HFPA, you got a problem. You better deal with it sometime soon. Best Motion Picture Animated was Soul. And of the nominees, I would agree that's the winner, although Wolfwalkers is a strong contender. That's the film people should definitely find. But Soul, hey, I'll give it to the movie for the music alone. The music alone and the voice talent was fantastic. Best Actor in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. I am a revolutionary. That is the performance to beat, in my opinion. I really hope he gets the Oscar for this because when I reviewed it a couple episodes back, I said how just passionate he was in that role. And he was just beautiful in that performance. God bless him. He just did a fantastic job of bringing Fred Hampton to life. And I will also say, his British accent is extraordinary. I couldn't understand anything. I needed closed captioning for him because it is so strong. And I remember him being a British actor. I forgot how heavy his accent is. So he should get an award just for making that go away and coming across completely American. He just did a wonderful job. Okay, Best Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture was a surprise. Jodie Foster. Now, I don't know why it's a surprise. The woman's won 1,000 awards and 2 Oscars, but she won for the Mauritanian. I can never say that right, but that's a really strong film. She is just fantastic in that film, and it's a horrible story that you should watch if you want to just be reminded once again how America isn't as great as we thought it was sometimes. Guantanamo Bay is a horrible place, I believe. I really, really just do believe, and they should probably close that. A little shout out to Tahar Rahim because he's the star of that movie, and man, heartbreaking performance. But he should definitely get some kudos, which he didn't from the Golden Globes, but that's okay. Jodie Foster did, so at least the movie got some attention. Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. If you didn't know, they do separate these musical and comedy for the top awards for actor, actress, and best film from drama and musical and comedy, mostly so that they can get more awards and get more people coming to the show. That's why they do it. But the winner, Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat, subsequent movie film. Sure. It's hard. Borat is quite an iconic creation, so I will give it to them. Now, here's my favorite surprise of the night. My favorite. It was Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. The winner was Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot. That movie, you might have heard in our last episode, Amanda reviewed it, and I hadn't seen it yet, so I had watched it since then. Holy shit. That performance blew me out of the water. That film, which is on Netflix, you can watch it right now. You don't have to go anywhere. Safely in your home. It's amazing how there's literally no one to root for in the movie, yet it's captivating throughout. I couldn't wait until the end, and Rosamund Pike, one-ups Crazy Amy. If you even thought that was possible from Gone Girl, she's worse than her. And that was hard to top, but she's worse than her. And she is evil, and you're not really ever rooting for her because she takes advantage of the elderly and basically takes over their finances and strips them of all their money. It's a horrible premise, but I couldn't stop watching, and I was on pins and needles for most of the movie. Now, there's some ridiculousness, like in most movies, but her performance is nothing ridiculous. She astounds me. If she's not in the Oscar conversation, I will be offended. I will, because everybody's offended of something. I'm offended if she's not in the conversation. And she was so nice and gracious in her accepting the award. I'm like, That's how great an actress you are. You're probably nice in person, but everybody that meets you is going to cross the street when they see you coming because you scared the hell out of them. All right, best motion picture, musical or comedy. Borat, subsequent movie film. I beat out Hamilton, music, Palm Springs, and The Prom. If you ever want to know how ridiculous the Golden Globes have gotten, music was nominated for best film. Music has a 9% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 15% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It is one of the worst reviewed films in a year, yet it somehow made the top 5. Explain this to me. Maybe if you had a little diversity, you could find some different movies, you jekylls. All right, now we're moving on to Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Man, so deserving. So deserving. And, a lot of times when you get a posthumous award when someone's passed away, you think, well, they're just doing that because they're just trying to, reward the celebrity or the actor for their work because they passed away. Don't agree. I think he did a fantastic job in the film. He is a fantastic actor. And his acceptance speech from his wife was just beautiful and kind of heartbreaking, but also mostly just beautiful. So, wow. So glad he won. I truly feel like he was deserving. I mean, everybody in this category was deserving. Even Gary Oldman and Mank. Even though I didn't like the movie, I thought he gave it his all. But Chadwick Boseman, I'm just glad he won. I really am. And his wife, so sweet. She basically, I can't even. All right, Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama. This was the huge surprise. Andra Day from The United States versus Billie Holiday. Now, the performance-wise, she does a really wonderful performance. The movie's a little disjointed and kind of all over the place, but her performance is very sound, and it's on Hulu right now, so you can actually go watch that one as well. Beat out Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman, great performance. Frances McDormand, Nomadland, great performance. Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, great performance. Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, great performance. These are all great performances. Now, I don't think she's the lead contender going into the Oscars, but good for her. She gave it her all and she knocked it out. Congratulations. That's wonderful. And they showed Regina King actually showed up at her house when she won to congratulate her, and that seems like a pretty awesome surprise. Okay, Best Motion Picture Drama, Nomadland. The winner was Nomadland. I can't say this enough. Land is the better version of Nomadland. It's basically the same concept, but it's a much better movie. It's just Land is a great movie. Nomadland is a good one with interesting curiosities in it because it uses real people to do the performances. That's the only thing that's really great about it. Man, that does not make it a great movie. It just doesn't. But that's what won. Congratulations to them. Still think if you're going to go that route with that same scenario, you go with Land. But I also think Promising Young Woman or Trial of Chicago 7 are both better films. Easily better films. And The Father, which I haven't seen, I've heard wonderful things about. So basically, 3 out of the 5 nominees, because Mank, you shouldn't have been there. 3 out of the 5 nominees were better than the one that won. But it's not a bad film. And you can watch it on Hulu, again, safely in your own home. I'm starting to think maybe Hulu was part of the bribery ding. I'm just kidding. I don't know that. But I will say thank you guys for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this Golden Globes wrap up. I'm just going through the winners just so you guys know who won. And I hope you enjoyed this kind of fill-in podcast because we're off this week. Thank you very much for listening. As always, go to thehollywoodoutsiders.com and subscribe if you find us in your podcast feed. Definitely don't miss any future episodes. You can always support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thehollywoodoutsiders. And I want to leave you with Simone, Chadwick Boseman's wife.
He would thank God. He would thank his parents. He would thank his ancestors for their guidance and their sacrifices. He would thank his incredible team, Michael Green, Azim Chiba, Nikki Fioravante, Evelyn O'Neill, Chris Huvane, Logan Coles. He would thank his team on set for this film, Deirdre Dixon, Sean Richards, Craig Anthony, and Andrew Carlone. He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, something that would amplify that little voice inside of all of us that tells you you can, that tells you to keep going, that calls you back to what you are meant to be doing at this moment in history. He would thank Mr. George C. Wolfe, Mr. Denzel Washington, lots of people at Netflix. He would thank Ms. Viola Davis, Mr. Glenn Turman, Mr. Michael Potts, Mr. Coleman Domingo, Ms. Taylor Page, Mr. Dusan Brown. And I don't have his words, but we have to take all the moments to celebrate those we love. So thank you, HFPA, for this opportunity to do exactly that. And hun, you keep them coming. Thank you.